it's been important for me to come to councillor training. Some people know me for community activism. I've been involved in politics for a few years now. I've been a community activist for about 10 years, and yeah, I mean, it's important for me to be here because politics is one of the fields that I wish to explore, to be a part of. So I'm here today to do some training, to try and see what I can learn and how I can further develop my skills and knowledge.
So I think the key behind what we're doing here is giving people the confidence and the education to comfortably go in and be effective councillors and understand what the role is in its most basic form.
So from the learning perspective, what we want is people to leave here with an understanding of what a local council is and what they do. We want participants to learn how to present yourselves to the community, and very shortly we're going to have Marion do some work with you around that. To understand a councillor's role and responsibility, because as you said, Alfonso, it isn't just about going up and being in the newspaper. It's more than that, because there's a whole block of, as Mr. said early on, housing, education, environment, finance, town planning, a whole bunch of stuff that we need to really get up on and look at the various programs. And all of them are led by the legislation. So we're going to do a little bit about that in a minute.
We need to unify. This is a time that surely we have enough energy, enough power, enough education, enough wealth, that it's about time that we request unapologetically it's time to level the playing field. Give us an equal chance, because I'm telling you, the time right now is for one voice.
As long as we get someone who can represent us, I imagine my generation will also prosper to be just like us people.
In taking our seat at the political table, what it means is that we will then be in a position to implement change. And that is why a political party is really paramount importance, because the only way that we're actually going to change the issues and the dynamics that are happening in our society is by literally being at the table when the rules and when the decisions are being made, and we vote for or against. It's as simple as that.
And this is part of training to give people the confidence to stand up there and be the leader in your area. First of all, if I can say, you've all got a piece of blank paper in front of you here. Can you please fold that into three? So fold up 1/3 and fold up the other third, so you've got three sections. Now, in the top half, at the top of the top half, can you write introduction? The beginning of the second section, the middle section, I want you to write issue. And the third one, I want you to write solution. Forget about the introduction for the moment, because you all know who you are. But when you're going to introduce yourself to someone on the doorstep, you need to know what it is you're introducing. Because, for example, Betty gave us a lovely introduction of who she was, where she's come from, what she's done, blah, blah, blah. That's her 4 minutes gone. She's got too much. But if she wants to talk about clearing dustbins, we need to know, yes, I am on the committee that clears the dustbins. That is the sort of introduction I want, right? Now, issues. Every one of us has a different issue or topic. It may be important or it may just be a little niggle. Now, I all want you to think about what your issue is today. It doesn't have to be a major concern. It can just be perhaps your neighbour has a problem.
Lack of parking in the local area. Lack of community centres, somebody mentioned that previously.
And there are a lot of young mothers who don't really understand what it means to be a mother, which is what I think leads to a lot of those type of circumstances where the youth have nothing to do.
See on that board there, you see initiative. You've got to have a party that takes the initiative.
The thing that's going to make us distinct from the Labour Party, the
Different.
Conservative Party, we want to take the initiative and solve the problem. Our solutions will be different because we are taking the initiative to find unity and action.
The reason why I like this party, it's a new party. The current parties that we already have, the other parties, the main parties, I think they're a bit outdated. They're a bit old.
Before we go into the case study that we're going to get you to work on and feedback, this is you. Now this could be you at any level. That could be you as a councillor. What we're influenced by are values. What else are we influenced by?
Environment.
Okay. What else? So your social norms of attitudes, your beliefs, your values. What else you can say?
So yeah, like gender roles or,
Yeah.
or what's expected of you as like a mother or a father or a child.
Expectations.
Yeah, expectations.
Uh-huh. Who said Muslim?
I did.
So how come you thinking before me?
Hierarchy of
And
needs.
what was Maslow's theory about?
Hierarchy of needs.
Okay, say
Basic human needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety,
Well, keep
food,
talking to me.
safety, food, water, you know, that kind of stuff.
Shelter.
Shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What those things that you were talking about, that Marion was talking about in terms of issue-based, all of these things then put us in a situation where as our role, not just as counselors, but as human beings, we seek to self-actualize ourselves and those of whom we serve. So our role essentially, as Marion was talking about, is how you as a council develop those human touch skills that you then begin to express yourself in a way that you deliver what you need to do as a counselor.
For more than 4 months, throughout lockdown, over Christmas, a mum was forced to raise her 2 young sons in this. Despite constant calls to her landlord, Croydon Council, Franzoy got nowhere. But when we showed this footage to the council, they sent inspectors in and moved the family out on the same day. They're now in a local hotel. So this is the room. It is safe and warm, but it is small. Franzoy and her sons, aged 5 and 7, are all living their lives in this one hotel room with nowhere to keep or cook food. You've got no fridge in here.
No, so it's like this is just not practical for anybody with children at the least, or that has to stay here for, because where are they going to eat? Where are they? I can't even wash clothes, nothing.
And no one from the council has told her how long this will last.
Just like that, they want to respond because the media got involved. They want to be, oh, we're urgently getting them out of there and putting them into a temporary accommodation. At the moment, I don't know how long I'm going to be here.
Do you worry you'll be forgotten about here?
I do worry that I'll be forgotten about here.
Tonight, we asked the leader of Croydon Council when the family would be properly housed. She couldn't give a date or any explanation for why residents were ignored for months. Do you feel personal shame for what has happened?
I do. It is completely unacceptable, and that's why we've done everything we can. You're absolutely right. We did not know about this situation.
So what we're going to do, we're going to break, we have some time now before, quite a bit of time, into small groups, 4 groups. So Claudine, you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. All the 1s are going to work together. All the 2s are going to work together. All the 3s and 4s will work together in small groups in this room. And I'm going to give you a piece of flip chart. And I want you to use the framework of Maslow's theory, what you think, as talking this morning already, that the skills and issues, responsibilities of a counselor would be, and what should have happened or should happen according to that case study. Okay, but you two are
The ones are meant to be out there.
out there. Yeah, you two are 2 different people.
When they presented it on the news, it's like, oh my god, did everything. Not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in the country.
Just Thursday, 15 days in hospital.
Yes. And there are other ones. It's not like there's nowhere to put them. Now there might be a slight inconvenience. There's school, there's 10 minutes.
I'd say like once every 2 months, but I think that because I think that's something that should never be happening.
If they don't use it, give it back.
Back in the day, the council used to have more houses, didn't they? They owned a lot of houses now. They've gone to
Well, do you know what it is? When I look at it, because I look at this stuff, obviously, I'm in housing, so I see what's going on.
Route one, what we decided was to establish what do they want out of this situation, what do they require, and also to establish what we ourselves can do.
Just said, firstly, we'd speak to the tenant, understand their needs, understand like what the problem is, why they're not happy. Obviously, we saw the state of the flat they were living in. But we'd said that we would like delegate, so we'd have someone in charge of that like block, that jurisdiction, and then also we'd said that they would report directly into it, because I think that in the chain of communication, like the message can be lost.
So first of all, we're going to assess the client's needs, especially with the health aspect, because obviously with the spores in the mold, it can actually give you a lot of health concerns. So we were going to do that so that we could prioritise when or if we need to move and what action needs to be done for that person.
To answer the question, we spoke about the operational system or what's going on. So there's lots of different departments involved, lots of different people involved, and basically the communication is just not happening. And it only started to trigger once the media got involved. But my guess is you have legal department involved, you would have environmental involved, you would have some contractors involved. These are all people that should be at the table discussing how to resolve the issue.
But to me, there's an equity system there. You're employed to do a job, whether it's private or otherwise, one should be doing it. And that's some of the value stuff that goes in there.
In the case that councillors are not really employed, are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they are now, but TTIP has a fantastic opportunity. That's why I came. But the warning is this. You go and knock on people's door and make them promises that you know you can't keep, and you will hit the floor face first, because they will remember you more than they remember the ones that came before, because you are different, you look like them.
So it's more offensive.
You see, so for me, it's informing ourselves and making that information available as much as possible.
My name is His Excellency Dr. Winston Mackenzie. I was approached by a top person in the United Nations and asked how I'd feel being appointed as an ambassador. And I thought I was living in some sort of dream world.
Tell me about TTIP and why you joined this party.
I was invigorated really by Charles Gordon. I know this pains and strains you have to go through to control a political party, or to say that you're behind a political party.
Good afternoon, Charles.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
We're now at the first training event held by TTIP, and we're in Croydon. Can you tell me, how would you describe how today has gone?
Do you know what? I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's been educational, not just for the people in the room, but also for us as a party. I think it's given us an insight into what's going on in people's minds. There's been a lot of great ideas that have been exchanged around the room. We've got a lot of very dynamic people in the room as well, that are all very strong and strong-minded and strong-willed. But in addition to that, I think that their viewpoints will assist TTIP in growing as a party as well. So I think there's been a lot of education. So it's not, as I said, not just education for us, but not just education for them, but education for us as well. So I think it's giving everyone an insight as to what changes they can make. It's given us an insight as to how the council run. These are things that even myself had very little knowledge on, to be fair. It's given us a practical understanding of how to deal with a case study and to deal with issues that people are having within communities. And I think all of these things are of vital importance. I think the key behind what we're doing here is giving people the confidence and the education to comfortably go in and be effective councillors and understand what the role is in its most basic form.
One thing that's so important to me also is that earlier on you spoke about a young lady who's recently joined the party, and I see she's just got some free pizza, but I'm now going to call her over because this is what Street Night does best. This is what I do best. And what is it about this young lady that inspires you?
Do you know what? I've met Katie, I've watched Katie over the last few months and probably about a year or so. And what I love about her is her outspokenness. Like, there's few people that have got the balls to say what needs to be said.
Intestinal fortitude, that's correct.
and Katie's one of those people that had the balls to say what needs to be said. She's not worried about ruffling feathers to get the job done. And I think, to be fair, if we're going to make the changes that we aim to make within the community, we need people that aren't scared to talk.
I'm interested in TTIP, number one, because it's a new party. All of the previous parties, they are quite outdated with their politics, and even the way that they have events or do whatever, it's quite outdated. This is a new party with a new vibe. It's got a new energy about it. It's black-led, although it's inclusive to all. And it's made up of like real people like myself that are very genuine about causes that they want to campaign about. And yeah, I think that's what's missing in politics today, genuine people.
The realness.
And you remember earlier on I said to you, I'm going to chuck you a question just to see how you handle that question. I'm now going to chuck you a difficult question.
No question is too difficult.
I believe, and I'm looking for the way you answer this question, I believe you said something like 65% of the people in this great borough are from the black community.
Yeah, black, Asian and ethnic minority community.
And I heard the debate that was had earlier on, but I'm not going there. The question I'm going to ask you, why should that other 35% vote for TTIP?
Well, because first of all, it's inclusive, and the politics that we'll be focusing on relate to everybody in the borough. The thing is most social issues affect everybody unless it's particular to one race or one religion or one demographic. Also as well, if we're running to be leaders of the local areas, we need to ensure that we're representing everybody's views and focusing on the issues what matter to everybody individually. There's always more than one person or one type of people that have that experience of that have the experiences of social issues. So it's just about bringing people together, but also respecting boundaries. Not everybody wishes to mix, and you should respect that. But at the same time, you should still be able to represent their views.
Did you like the way that was answered, sir?
Can I add to that? I'm just going to add to it. Because what I'd say is this: I think that a lot of the problems that we face in society, although we've been made to believe these are black and white problems, and these problems are probably culturally based, the truth of the matter is these are economic problems, and they're social economic problems. So the reality is that the poor people aren't represented, whether you're black, white, or green. When I was growing up, and on certain estates, at the end of the day, I wasn't not going to protect my white friend because he was white. At the end of the day, he was in the same boat as me, and I think that the racism thing is partly what they use to keep us segregated and divided as the lower classes, let's say. But I think the truth is we've got to start overlooking that and seeing it more for what it is. It's a social economic problem. It's a rich and a poor. It's a haves and a have-nots. And we need to focus our energy on, as the people that haven't been given the privileges in society, to working towards creating those privileges and those
community cohesion.
It's much communities, but opportunities. Creating those opportunities so that even people in the different sections of the community have the ability to rise up. And I think that's one of the key factors for TTIP, because as much as we're about the politics and everything else, we're also about the economics. And the truth of the matter is, without the finances, nothing happens. First thing I wanted to say is thank you to everybody for coming. I think this is, ultimately we've started something that's got the potential to be huge, and I appreciate all of you for taking the time out on a Saturday to be here to help this grow. I know that all of you are here purely on the same page as me in most cases, as in we want to see the changes happen. So I just want to take a few seconds to just say thank you, and I want you guys to give yourself a round of applause for making it and taking the time out to start to make the changes that we need to see happen in our society. So I truly appreciate it and thank you, and I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause for getting down here. Okay.
Dominic Norton. Maya Emmanuel. Alfonso Lewin. Here we go.